is it so dark? Oh, hi. Good morning. Thanks for joining us on the, there's a little bit of light. Thanks for joining us on our weekly Wednesday morning live stream. My name is Mark. I'll be your live stream presenter today. This is SilviaFindings live stream event. Yay! I don't know if you're getting any ambient sound on top of this thing. We have a bunch of fans, air conditioning going because, and I'm going to totally date this video if you're watching this sometime in the future. There was a time in 2021, the last days of June, summer was trying to get a hold and it got a hold really hard and wouldn't let go of the Pacific Northwest, and we were baking in a heat wave that's just devastating. Actually, I was just like a couple hundred people have died from the heat in the greater Vancouver area where we are, so it's like tragic, crazy. Just, you know, we're not built for that. And I know I have friends in well, not friends, kind of ex-in-laws, I guess those are kind of friends anyway, in Arizona, who live in Arizona. They're like, yeah, but it's always this temperature, it's always 100 degrees, what are you talking about? And you know, we just don't have the infrastructure for that kind of stuff. You know, it's a very temperate area. Winters are very mild, summers are very mild, I guess. We might have a couple days where it reaches in the upper 20s, or if you're in Fahrenheit, in the, you know, the 80s. It rarely gets into the 90s, never gets into the hundreds, you know, but we've been at temperatures that are that high, crazy. Anyway, neither here nor there. So that's, if you hear some ambient whooshing or drone sounds in the background, we've got fans, air conditioning going, because it would be unbearable in here, and it has been. You know, we closed on Monday. We came in, we did all the shipping, and then we left because it was like 40 degrees in here, which is like 100 and, I don't know, 100 something. It's really hot. It was really bad. I sweat buckets. It was amazing, and not in a good way. Just it's been hard, but whatever. The planet's toast anyway, so. Let's buy a bunch of silver stuff to make up for the time we have left. I'm trying to be, yeah, uplifting. Here we go. So we've been doing this kind of cataloging of all of our products along the way as we go. And we're going to continue that today. We're still doing earrings. We've done pendants, we've done rings, we've done, well, we haven't done veils yet. We're doing earrings, and I think today mostly the earrings that we're doing are pearl earrings, or pearl or stones or whatever, for partially drilled, you know, stones that you can glue on, usually glue on. And whenever we say glue on, assume that, I mean, I suppose you can use like that E6000 or 527 or any of those other craft glues that are available, but they won't last forever. You know, they're only kind of okay. You need a good 2-part epoxy. I like the kind that dries clear. You can get stuff like was a famous one, Bondo, right? But Bondo doesn't dry. It's super strong and it would totally work, but it doesn't dry clear. It dries kind of gray and ugly. But you can get kind that dry, you know, nice and clear, that are awesome. There's also a product out there that I have seen, but I'll be honest, I haven't used it, so I don't know, but they call it pearl cement. I suspect it's just another one of those kind of gooey craft glues that don't dry crunchy. When you're using pearls, you never want to use crazy glue, cyanoacrylates, those kind of glues. They're really, really watery kind. Or you can even get some cyanoacrylates that are a little gooier, that are not so runny, but you never want to use those kind of super glues. They will destroy the nacre on the pearls, fume the outside of most crystals and stones. You know, the vapors cause like an ugly patina on the surface. So super glues are bad. two-part epoxy glues are the best. That's my little info dump for today. As far as postage is concerned, shipping is pretty much golden everywhere. We're doing good. I think we've pretty much, the infrastructure is pretty much recovered. I'm not even going to say anything bad about France today, because their postal service is what it is. Moving right along. If anything that you see here, you know, that you like, but maybe it doesn't fit, or doesn't, you know, you like the concept, but you don't like the execution. If you see something and you say, oh, that's cool, but I would change this, you know, write it down. Get it to us. We do custom work all the time. Custom, it's becoming a real thing. I mean, you know, we've always done custom work, and it's always been kind of a cool thing, but I don't know what happened just the past year or two. It's really taken off. I think because more people realize that we do it, more people are like, oh, hey, you know, I really like the idea of doing that. And if you've ever gone to a jeweler, you know, your corner jeweler, obviously not mall jeweler. Well, some mall jewelers have, you know, jewelers, actual bench jewelers who work there in the back, you know, setting stones or doing whatever. But not many. You know, chain jewelers don't do that. But if you have like your, you know, local jewelry store where it's a shop and it's a, you know, a grizzled old man sitting there with his optivisors, you know, doing whatever. And if you've ever gone to a real jeweler and had them quote you a price for a custom ring or a custom pendant, and you bring them a stone and you say, I want to make a ring for this kind of thing, they're going to quote you, and it's going to be many hundreds of dollars, you know, minimum. Even if it's just sterling silver, a simple ring, you're looking at $300-400. You know, we take out all of the middleman, all the thing, because those old-timey jewelers, they would actually carve the wax model of the thing, and then, you know, until it was good, and if it's not, they would repair, change it, do things, sometimes start from scratch. I think so. This is real super labor intensive, and I'm not taking away from the jeweler who's charging that much. It actually is worth that much based on how much time it's taking them to do it and what they're doing. But there is a simpler way, and we do it the simpler way. You know, we'll do a 3D CAD, you know, version of your piece. Make sure you're okay with it. You know, well, obviously we'll send you the images when it's done. We can even send you like a 3D image that you can look at, you know, to see when you're done. And then from there, we 3D print a castable resin copy of it, and then we can cast that, you know. So the actual, you know, bulk of the time, it's much quicker to be able to design something, especially if you're good and you're a good designer. We have really good designers working for us. You know, if you're good, you can create something like that relatively quickly. You know, it doesn't have to be, you know, weeks of carving. It could be a couple of hours of design work, you know. Anyway, so, you know, that's how we do it, and that's how we maintain, I think. I've never seen anybody do it less expensive than we do it, and people rave about the quality all the time, you know, because quality is not really an issue, you know, for us. It's easy to make stuff that's really good. You know, it just takes a little more time, maybe a little more expense, a little more, you know, attention to detail, a little more quality control. But it's not hard to make stuff really good quality, you know. It's you know, it's easier to make stuff really good quality, but it's less expensive to make stuff of lesser quality, if that makes sense, right? So you can, anyway, neither here nor there. Just trust that whatever we make for you is going to be tip-top quality. Anyway, let's move right on to the earrings. Have I got everything? Did I do anything? Oh, yeah, of course, if you, you know, share the video, let us know, and we'll send you one of those silver polishing cloths, which you must never wash. Just keep them till they run out, till they turn black, and then chuck them in the trash and buy a new one, because they're not really that expensive. But we'll send you one for free if you share this video. So I need to slow down. I've been told I speak too fast. But too bad, that's who I am. I speak too fast. Okay, let's just get this going. Turn this around. Our first item, EW067, and everything I'm going to show you today, of course, as always, will have two prices on it. The first one is a retail price, where it says R, and the W is the wholesale price. The retail price is the price, whatever, and the wholesale price is the price if you spend upwards of $150 at the wholesale level, right? So 23 divided by 150, I can't do that math off the top of my head, I'm too hot. So was that like 5 pieces? No, 6 pieces. You'd need 7 of these things to get the $150, even though 7 of them would be like, you know, $234 at the retail price. You know, it'd still only be like 150 something at the wholesale. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. I probably picked something where the math was too difficult to pay attention to, kind of thing. So anyway, $150 at the wholesale level to get the wholesale price. That's all. That's the only criteria. And a lot of these are going to have measurements on them. For most of these earrings, because these are earrings where something will get glued on to this, right? That's a cap, there's no post on it. I probably picked like the worst example to show you because this gets glued in. Anyway, I'll get there. These are probably the measurements of the whole piece, right? So it's 20 millimeters high from the top of the ear wire down to the bottom of this cap, and 11 millimeters wide, kind of thing, right? So these come on a pair of ear wires, and this is just a cute little spirally cap with a bunch of cubic zirconias in the front. Right, so this is obviously the front, and this you glue like what I'm seeing this. If you're gluing like a teardrop, you know, pearl or something like that, something with kind of a teardrop. And now you can theoretically pull this open a little bit. You just have to be careful. The reason why there's only one stone down on the bottom here is that if you flex these open where there's multiple stones, sometimes, not always, but sometimes the stones can pop out because of how they're set, right? These are just, you know, it's kind of like a faux bead and bright cut, where there's just little pieces of metal that are pushed over onto the stone to hold them in place. And if it's just one stone, like here, down here, you know, it's fine. It's even if you bend it a little bit, flex it a little bit, it's not gonna do anything. But where you have multiple stones, you'll have like one prong, one dot that's holding in stones on two sides. And if you flex it too much, you know, it'll either compress the stone and pop the stone out, or it'll stretch the hole and make the hole a little bit oval instead of round, and the stone can slip out. Anyway, that's the first one, EW067, with a retail price of $34.44 and a wholesale price of $23.01. And again, we have these. I know there's only one inside this little box, but these are all by the pair. Anything that you wear by the pair, we'll sell it by the pair. And these, I don't know, these, I feel like these are all over the place as far as styles. Some are going to be ear wires, some are going to be posts. We'll just make the discoveries along the way. ES107 with a retail price of $22.14 and a wholesale price of $13.87. Right? These are obviously posts. And am I going to pull this out? Oh, I am going to pull it out. Now, don't be alarmed. Yes, the post is going to be bent, but okay, I'm not going to pull it out. We need to bend the post to be able to get them into these little thin display cases. So, but don't worry. Obviously, the stock items aren't bent like that. So. This is a cute little cup and peg mount, right? Two little kind of, I don't know, flourishes around the side, little ribbons on the side. Almost leaf-like, I guess. I don't know. And they have a little dot accent down at the bottom there. And no way. Vicky Osawiki. Oh my God. Ghost of the past. It's so awesome to see you joining our live stream. Heckling me when I'm working, I hope. Wow. Vicky, I'm so glad to see that you're still kicking. ES175 with a retail price of $23.61 and a wholesale price of $14.76. God, that just tickles me so much that you joined our live stream today. Ms. Osuwiki here, who just joined the live stream here, I don't know if you can see her in chat or whatever, is one of those students who just, when I used to teach jewelry making, jewelry fabrication, man, always just went for it. Never, fearless, I guess is the word. I love that. And if it was ever something that she wanted to see happen but didn't know how to do it, she just made it work. Just figured it out. Just, what happens if I do this? You know, not a lot of students are fearless like that, you know, but Vicky always was. Yes. Oh, he's so awesome. And it warms my heart. ES175 with a retail price of $23.61 and a wholesale price of $14.76 is for a 10 millimeter ish pearl, you know. And when I say pearl, I mean anything like half drilled, partial drilled. You could put any old sphere in there, you know, amethyst or whatever, you know, whatever. It doesn't have to be a pearl, although all of these things are traditionally for pearls, and these cup and peg settings are made for that. Again, good 2-part epoxy is what you want for this. And this kind of like, I don't know, twisty wire wreath sort of looking things. Again, these are posts. The pearl will fit on there. Glued right on there. EW649 with a retail price of $20.68 and a wholesale price of $12.92. These are, again, posts. Again, I'm going to pull these out. Don't panic that the posts are bent. They're supposed to be, you know, bent like that in these little display things. So there's a cute little, I don't know, flourish, you know, thing at the top. No cubic zirconias are in. Oh, there is one. There's a little cubic zirconia in the top of that thing. And then there's that cute little flower cup and peg mounting. Now, obviously, you wouldn't see this once you've glued your pearl or whatever in there. You know, it would just be something dangling off the top of that with a cute little cubic zirconia in there. Okay, I'm not going to put that in properly. I'll deal with that later. EW507 with a retail price of $30.25 and a wholesale price of $18.92. This, you know what? We have a pendant of this. And I don't know why, because to me it's kind of, you know, I don't know, weird looking. I guess like lily pads is what it's supposed to be, right? There's a couple of little cubic zirconias in there. And anyway, that pendant, as far as the pearls go, is like one of our best-selling pendants. And, you know, it's not me, but boy, people love it. So that cup and peg mount up at the top there, in the top lily pad, and then there's a couple of little cubic zirconias mounted into the bottom of the lily pad there, just for little accents. If you want something more kind of organic looking, oh God, I used to get in so much trouble for calling things organic looking. EW654 with a retail price of $35.59 and a wholesale price of $22.24. This is obviously just a little starfish, right? These are posts again. Just trying to look at where the post is from the middle. Yeah, from the post comes out from the very middle of that, so it's almost like a continuation of that thing. Oh, right. Fine silver, so fusing mostly. No. You see, that's not surprising. Knowing what I know, as much as I know about you, how you love that kind of controlled chaos of fusing. That's right up your personality type. A la Ann Mitchell. God, you know, I haven't seen Ann in ages. I wonder what she's up to. So, cute little starfish. Right? Textured starfish with these little cup and peg mounts. You know, sometimes you'll see these cup and peg mounts have that little kind of like a twisty wire thing, kind of like a screw thing. Don't think that just because it has this little screw thing that you could just like screw your pearls on and you won't have to deal with glue. You still need to use glue, which I'm sure sounds bizarre to a student of mine, because in my classes, when we were doing metalsmithing classes, glue was a 4-letter word, as we used to say. Oh boy. But a good 2-part epoxy is not really like a glue, it's like something amazing. EW675 with a retail price of $41.60 and a wholesale price of $26. Here's another post, and I'm going to pull this out even though I know that it's all bent up, just to give you an idea of where this would sit in the year, right? Got those lovely little swirl with cubic zirconias in there, and the peg is down at the back, right? So depending on the size of your pearl, you'll just see the pearl kind of sticking out the side or the back kind of thing. This is more like almost like a peekaboo kind of thing, you know, like oh, I know the pearl is in there somewhere, and maybe a little more visible from the side view than it would be from the front. But anyway, just gonna close that up for now. Our next item, and this is kind of in an incongruous place. I don't know what it's doing there. It's like totally not where it's supposed to be. ES148 with a retail price of $15.02 and a wholesale price of $10.96. This is a 10 by 10 square-ish thing, and it's just a kind of cute little curved square, right? With that cup and peg. Very simple, very elegant, can't go wrong. And again, don't mind the bent posts. The nice thing about something like that is obviously you could put, oh God, whatever size you want in there. Something, you know, small enough that it stays inside the perimeter of the square, or something huge that completely eclipses the square. It'll all work. Just the bigger the piece that you put on the front, you know, the bigger the back you need behind your ear to offer support. ES118 with a retail price of $41.44 and a wholesale price of $30.64. This is, again, there's only one in here. This is a post. Post is right behind that cup and peg. And it's kind of like, I don't know, like a leafy sort of thing, sort of draped over that, where the pearl would be. Kind of, I don't know. God, I hate using that word, organic. And you know what? I don't have a pair, so I can't tell for sure, but I'm pretty sure that these are both, that there's not a left and a right version of this, that there's just, oh no, there definitely is. So the other one would be a mirror image of this, right? So you wouldn't be looking at the same thing on both sides. It'd be like, you know, like they're supposed to be. You have left and right earrings for left and right ears. EW563 with a retail price of $23.62 and a wholesale price of $15.74. These just cute little ear wires with that kind of a simple cone cap sort of thing. It's not really a cap though, because you don't really put anything in there, but it's kind of like a cone thing with cubic zirconias down the side. Obviously the peg on here is probably longer than you need it to be, right? Because usually the holes in half drilled pearls are only drilled about halfway through, sometimes a little more, but not more than that, not more than 3/4. So unless your pearl is monstrous, you probably don't need that to be quite so long. You know, the easiest way to do that is to push this into the pearl all the way until it ends, then draw a little line on your peg there, and then the distance from the end of the peg to the line is how deep the hole is, obviously, and then you just measure that from the top down. And I always cut a little bit less than I need, so there's a little bit of a gap between the end of the post and the end of the hole in the pearl. You can let that fill up with glue when you do that, when you glue them in there. I don't know why. I don't know that there's a structural reason. It's just always the way I've always done it. So it's probably wrong. EW600 with a retail price of $20.79 and a wholesale price of $12.99. And this is just a cute little oval component, kind of three-dimensional, right? Because it kind of tapers around in the back with a cute little cup and peg, little flowery thing at the top. You just glue your pearl in there or whatever. Golly, I'm thinking, some of those, I've seen some cut crystal points where the top of it was, usually the top of a crystal, and I can't remember the name of that shape. They kind of like the chandelier pierces, the pierces down at the bottom. Usually the holes are drilled sideways, so you could put like a pinch bail or something through there. But I have seen some where the hole is right in the top that you can definitely use for this kind of thing. I think it would look awesome. EW562 with a retail price of $22.65 and a wholesale price of $15.11. And lovely ear wire, nice and thick down at the bottom with a big curve up, and it just has a kind of a loop with a cute little cup and peg down on the bottom of that. And this, we actually do have these, just this part, this little cup and peg part. You can buy that separately, obviously. And we don't have that ear wire that's just like that with a loop on it. But it'd be cool. Now, because the day wouldn't be right if we didn't have at least something ridiculous. EW510 with a retail price of $39.83 a pair and a wholesale price of $23.89. We've got these lovely sterling. Oh, and all these prices that I'm telling you, I didn't say this at the beginning. They're obviously Canadian prices, right? Canadian dollars. So if you're U.S. prices, you'd be looking at, I don't know, Canadian dollar's pretty strong right now, 80 cents. So whatever price these are times 0.8, and that's about the U.S. price. So less than that, whatever that is. And come on, how you gotta love these. But they're not as good as the owls that we had last week. But right, they're so cute. These little sea turtles with the cup and peg mount being the shell of that. I just love those. But I'm a sucker for those kind of things. ES119 with a retail price of $20.63 and a wholesale price of $13.75. We've got these lovely, and here's another one here, like this one back here, that there was only one in the thing. When I said we have a left and a right, this is what I meant, right? How this is like just kind of like off center in one direction, and this is the same thing where like one goes in one direction, the other goes in the other direction. It's just like a mirror image of it. Still means you have to have two molds to do it, but anyway, neither here nor there. So cute little, I don't know what that is, little swirlies, bunch of cubic zirconias in there. I want to say it feels a little Art Deco, but it's not quite, is it? It's close. Anyway. The first time I heard, I used to work in an auction, furniture auction place, and I just got the job because it was something to do during the summer. I had no idea about what furniture was, and the first time I heard about Art Deco, I thought it was a designer, like his name was Artemis or something, Deco. And I was like, wow, this guy designed a lot of stuff. EW655 with a retail price of $17.33 and a wholesale price of $10.83. Lovely ear wire with a feather. Artemis Deco, yes, a famous designer. Little ear wire with a cute little leaf. Kind of inverted. This is a little, non-traditional. Usually you'd see that the leaf upside down and they're in the opposite orientation. Just with a cute little cup and peg. That, again, obviously probably don't need the peg to be that long if you're gluing a pearl or something to that, so you can just snip that down according to the size you want. Oh gosh. Oh, I'm destroying my display here. Oh boy. Anyway. ES 126 with a retail price of $24.13 and a wholesale price of $16.15. These cute little, it's got to be a bow tie, right? I don't know. Maybe not. I see it. I see a bow tie when I look at that. Anyway, cute little dimpled bow ties with a little cup and peg mounting, glued to the bottom, right? And oh, that's peg's bent right over. Oh boy, these take so much abuse in the display boxes. EW 575 with a retail price of $23.11 and a wholesale price of $14.44. We've got this cute little ear wire with a bunch of cubic zirconias mounted in there, right? How gorgeous. With a little cup and peg. Almost looks like a bell, right? Nice big cap on there. But once you get the pearl on there, obviously, it would just look like a cute little cap. EW 676 with a retail price of $19.63 and a wholesale price of $11.79. Speaking of caps, oops. Again, just plain old ear wire, right? Just an ear wire with a spring, and this kind of an interesting cap with these two little teardrop elements in the front and back, bedecked with cubic zirconias, pave style, right? So, golly, I guess you could kind of stretch those open depending on how big of a pearl. Probably not. That's pretty thick. How big is that opening? Does it say? Doesn't say. 8 millimeters? I don't think so. It looks like about, off the top of my head, you probably put something about, yeah, maybe 6 or 8 millimeters thick in there. 8 might be pushing it. ES 149 with a retail price of $19.15 and a wholesale price of $13.73. And I love these. They're just ear wires they're posts, right? These are bent, I think. So they're post with a just kind of like a little flower pod, almost. Not really a pea pod because there's only a peg for one pearl in there, but they're very cute. I love that. Every time I see these, I think of that one artist, that Tamara de Lempica. Lempica, is that her name? I can never remember. But it's vivid in my brain. EW 113 with a retail price of $28.93 and a wholesale price of $17.89. These just lovely posts. These are posts up at the top there. And then there's kind of like chain links. Here it looks like little chain links with a cute little cup down on the bottom. Right? Very, very modern. Not really postmodern, but modern. Did I say that like it's a bad thing? Modern. EW 742 with a retail price of $15.60 and a wholesale price of $9.75. And this is, how do I describe this? It's kind of like two swirling elements that are, mirror images of each other, right? It's a very three-dimensional looking piece, right? I just kind of love how they sort of twist around each other into a nice little diamond pattern. And then there's, this is obviously not a pearl one, that's a pinch bail that you'd put I don't know, something, piece of fused glass with a hole through it, or a stone with a hole near the top. I didn't pull my calipers out because I didn't know that I was going to have any of these. But off the top of my head, it looks like maybe 4 millimeters thick is about the width of the thing that you need to put in there. And again, I'm going to talk about this a lot when I do the pinch bail earrings, but there's a common misnomer that the pegs have to meet each other near the middle, and that's not true. This little, what is that, kind of like 2 millimeters, posts, that's all you need. It's the 90-degree angle between this little tiny piece of the post and the stone that holds the stone in place, right? Because all of the weight is going to be perpendicular to the post. And because the post is inside a hole, the post can't bend. So it's kind of like, have you ever seen, you could look up the tensegrity. It's almost a function of that, kind of like the action that's pulling it apart is pushing it together at the same time. EW560 with a retail price. You didn't know you needed some little physics lesson here during the live stream. 3402 is a retail price. 2269 is a wholesale price. Did I say that wrong? 34 is a retail price. Yeah, you know what I mean. And oh, this is still taped shut. Oh my god. So much for my pre-show prep work. I love these ear wires with these just gorgeous. Look at that. This is the front, right? Just a simple cone cap kind of looking thing, bedecked with cubic zirconias. Up near the top of that texture, obviously it's not cubic zirconias, it's just texture of the silver. But those are cubic zirconias all in the bottom, pave style, and the back is just kind of like an open, back. And just the cup and peg there to glue your pearl in there. This is just so, I don't know. I love it. I've become a big fan of the bling. I know that seems kind of cover guy. ES120 with a retail price of $24.67 and a wholesale price of $16.63. This nice big post, right? With kind of like a curvy thing sticking out the front. Right, so it's kind of going to look like it's an ear wire sticking out of your ear, but it's not, right? It's a post with that curvy little thing with cubic zirconias in there, and you know what? I'm just looking at this. This is not. There's no cubic zirconias in here. It's just texture. Very cool. It looks like there are, just from all that little texture in there, but there are not. And this one, this is another one that baffles me. EW740, $18.93 is the retail price, and $11.83 a pair is the wholesale price. And God, we just sell a ton of these, and it baffles me just because it's clear that I don't understand the aesthetic of it's going for. It's just a regular ear wire, and yeah, these are kind of bent up because they've been in the display case for years, and people, pull them out and bend them, pull them everywhere. But the pearl would just glue to that cup and peg, and it would kind of stick out the side. I look at this, and to me, this is like, I don't know, Dr. Seuss. Horton Hears a Who or something. But people love it. People just love this. And I don't know. I have no taste, I guess. EW109 with a retail price of $17.50 and a wholesale price of $11.23 a pair. This, again, just a lovely pair of ear wires, just regular old ear wires. And, for any of these things that have just regular ear wires, I know I've been teasing it for a couple of weeks now. But one of these weeks, maybe not next week or the week after, but the week after that, I'll do we have a couple trays of different ear wires that you can probably like 50 different kinds of ear wires that you can order. And oftentimes people will buy these kind of things and they'll just replace the ear wire. They'll put this big funky modern ear wire on there, and you can change that. So even though the ear wires that we have in a lot of these things are kind of your standard plain old vanilla ear wires, you could definitely put some get some kind of like a Rocky Road ear wires or whatever. to continue the ice cream similes. So just a regular cap, kind of a little floral cap, right? Kind of like a 6-petal flowers. The front petals all have cubic zirconias in there, just to give it a little bit of bling, right? And the rear ones don't, because I don't know. If somebody's looking at you from behind, they're probably not looking at your earrings anyway. EW665 with a retail price of $28.08. I'm gonna get some email about that. $17.55 is your wholesale price for these lovely dragonflies. Little pairs of dragonflies, frolicking. With a cute little cup and peg down on the bottom. You can just glue whatever you want to that to the inside. These obviously are posts, right? I don't know, they're just cute. Little cubic zirconias bedecked in the wings of these. Dragonflies are super popular, you just can't deny that. Here's another one that's kind of like a spiritual cousin to the Doctor Who one, right? I think this one, I actually have a pearl in one of them. I'll pull this out and show you that in a second. EW661 with a retail price of $335 and a wholesale price of $224. And it's just a regular, ear wire with that, cup and peg down at the bottom there. Was just a cup. Yep, this is just a cup. There's no peg on that. And this is just here's that sample of that with the earring glued on. So this is what you're looking at, right? From the front. Once this is glued into your ear, it's literally, there's nothing but a pearl. It's kind of like if you have like a pair of post earrings that are just pearls, right? Where you only see the pearl. This is the same thing, except you only see the little piece of earring going into the your ear. EW571 with a retail price of $23.92 and a wholesale price of $17.94. These are, of course, just lovely. Let me open these up. Cute little, I'm going to get it wrong. I'll call these daisies. Why not? Not quite a plumeria. Plumeria's only got 5 petals, but so we'll call it a daisy. Whatever, it's a flower. With a cute little cup and peg, right? These posts are bent on this, but right, so you just glue the pearl. See, the nice thing about something like this is it's really versatile, because you could put something as small as like a little 4mm pearl thing, all the way up to quite a bit bigger, like, I don't know, maybe 8 or 10 millimeters. Super versatile. EW582 with a retail price of $39.12 and a wholesale price of $29.34. Speaking of big ear wires. And this is actually one of the ear wires that we have that you can just buy just on its own, right? Which I'll get to those probably 2 weeks. This one has a little component with a cubic zirconia set in it, and just a little cup and peg to glue your little pearls in there. I think in the the retail versions of this, the peg sticks a little bit further out of the cup. Excuse me, but can't go wrong. EW569 with a retail price of $23.92 and a wholesale price of $17.94. And this, we actually also have a pendant version of this. It's just a little bit bigger, and I think we also have one that's very similar, but there's cubic zirconias in some of these little fronds. I don't know what you'd want to call them, right? So it's just plain ear wire with a cap, with a bunch of things. And obviously this, depending on the shape of your thing, you could pull these pieces out or together, or push them together to get a nice tight fit on your thing, whatever you put in there. Maybe a drop pearl, maybe a crystal point, maybe I don't know, whatever works. EW527 with a retail price of $16.21 and a wholesale price of $9.91. So Obviously lovely, very funky, big contemporary ear wires with just a plain old cap, right? Kind of like a trombone bell. It does look like a trombone. Wah, wah, wah. With the cap on. Oh boy, don't get me started. What was I going to say? Oh, because no matter how something is intended to be used, people will buy them and use them in completely inappropriate ways, and it always looks awesome. EW 509 with a retail price of $38.19 and a wholesale price of $23.87. This again, another just gorgeous ear wire with a nice big cap, with some chevrons of cubic zirconias down in the bottom of that, and the cup and peg. This is bent, but and this obviously is designed for a giant pearl, like maybe a 12 or 14 millimeter pearl in there, or stone. Just love that. That for sure. If it's something like that, like a 12 millimeter pearl, which is grand enough on its own, this is kind of the kind of thing you need to see in the top of it to not compete with it, but to definitely enhance it. EW 648 with a retail price of $11.92 and a wholesale price of $7.45. I just noticed something. These are posts with a little ball on the top, although they're not ball posts, they're just half balls, right? Half spheres. I'm sorry, my inner. Yeah, a little piece of chain. I don't know how big that is. Maybe half an inch or so. Does it say? It does not. So off the top of my head, I'm saying like I don't know, 12 millimeters, 14 millimeters of chain, and this cute little tri-level cup and peg down on the bottom, right? Dangles, dangles, dangles. So you probably don't want a huge pearl on there. Maybe 4, 6 millimeter at the most. Or I guess you could put giant ones. I've seen that. I would be worried though if you put giant, really super expensive pearls in there. Now this one is a winner. EW099 with a retail price of $14.83 a pair and a wholesale price of $8.68 a pair. And this is like just like a giant ear wire, right? Nice and smooth and wide taper all the way around with that post thing. So when this is in your ear, it'll stick out like this, right? So that you've got that nice wide section coming out of the front, the top of your ear, and the pearl hanging out the bottom. This big giant ear wire. The nice thing about a big ear wire like this is you definitely don't need to have like a rubber stopper or something on the back for it to accidentally slip out, unless your pearl is massive. If you got a giant like a 14 or 16 millimeter pearl, that might be an issue, but probably not. EW043 with a retail price of $18.15 and a wholesale price of $11.34. This again, it's just like a big cap sort of thing. Although it's not hollow, or not all the way up, it is a little bit here, just enough for that cup and peg to be in there, and the ear wire soldered to the top of that. Very simple, very elegant. I don't know, kind of really modern looking, right? So this is real tall. I can see somebody with a really tall person with a long neck wearing those. Stately. EW 581 with a retail price of $30.81 and a wholesale price of $23.11. And God, I just love these ear wires. Right, it's a nice big round ear wires, tapered, right, to small. There's probably like a 21 gauge all the way down at the thing, and it tapers all the way up to, I don't know what that is, probably. It's a little bit flattened, a little bit wide, I don't know, huge kind of thing. And then you've got that sort of stylized heart down at the bottom, right? With a little cup hanging from that, cup and peg mount, that you can glue your little pearl inside there. Here is a little bit smaller version of that, those big tall ones, right? So not really a spiritual cousin so much as a younger sibling. EW519 with a retail price of $15.21 and a wholesale price of $10.14. Again, it's just a regular old cap, hollow cap with that post sticking out the top. Probably a little more wearable than those, depending on how long of a neck you've got or how much of an effect you're trying to throw here. Here's kind of another little bit different version of that, a little more ornate version of that. EW548 with a retail price of $25.92 and a wholesale price of $15.55 with a lovely ear wire with a cap on there. Cubic zirconias bedecked on the front, right? Kind of simple, sort of elegant. I like how that it's a round cap, right? And it'll fit beautifully on a roundish pearl, but that kind of like pointed bottom kind of gives you a central point to look at. Definitely very, very cool. And the last earrings I'm going to show you today, EW511 with a retail price of $23.49 and a wholesale price of $14.69. And I just love these. These are definitely plumeria flowers, right? Little ear wires with that cup and peg. Again, super versatile because, well, I don't know. If it were me, I wouldn't put anything, massive in here. Probably 4 millimeters, maybe 6 millimeters at the most. But if you do any more of that, then you start occluding some of the flower. And I just love that. Very three-dimensional piece, right? Very gorgeous. Tricky casting, but it's a gorgeous piece. I just love that. And now we're back here to me. Hey. Okay, so that's it. That's all we got for this week. We'll do 2 more trails. Sit up like a big boy here. Yeah, so that's it for this week. Earrings. They're mostly glue-on pearl-ish things. We'll do more. Next week, I'm going to do a bunch of pinch bail ones. And then definitely, probably, maybe, the week after that, we'll do the ear wires. Because I know that some people are waiting on those things. So maybe I'll just do it next week. No, just kidding. Definitely next week I'm doing pinch bails. Yeah. If we haven't burnt to a crisp here in the Pacific Northwest. Although it's getting better. Today's a little bit better than it was definitely yesterday and definitely Monday. Monday was the worst, but anyway, neither here nor there. In the meantime, Vicky, it was nice to see you in the chat, and you can contact me anytime. I still do free consultations to any customers. Old or new, whatever you need, any jewelry questions you have, although I'm sure you've far surpassed anything that I could have ever taught you. Yeah, get a hold of us. And that, of course, doesn't, only apply to my old students who I love dearly. Anybody, if you have any questions, it doesn't have to necessarily be, findings specific. Could be anything about jewelry making, anything about casting, anything having to do with the custom service that we offer a ton of. I love doing that. I think the custom aspect of this business is what I get the most enjoy out of, watching something go from an ugly pencil drawing or trying to get ideas out of somebody's mind that they have an idea, it's fixed in their mind, but they maybe don't have the same vocabulary as I do, the same design vocabulary. So it's difficult to get two people, jiving on the same thing. And even though, maybe I personally, my line drawings suck. They're terrible. I never took the time to learn how to draw well. I probably should do that. Although I've been saying that for like 30 years, but yeah, neither here nor there. But anyway, getting something from that point into the design phase and doing the 3D design and then printing a resin prototype and looking at it, checking your stones inside, and then casting it and having it, polished and beautiful and thing, and especially if I get to set the stones, like if you sent us the stones and we've 3D scanned them, because we have a 3D scanner that will scan the stones that are going to go into your custom jewelry, just to make sure, because a lot of times the seats, and you've heard me say this 100 times if you've watched these live streams ever before, the seats are not always designed for funky gemstones. If it's diamonds or something, those traditional cuts where the angles are all about the same, the angle from the table or the girdle and the pavilion, right, is 41-ish degrees, something like that. Those are the traditional, cuts. Lapidaries who are cutting gemstones, they'll cut these wacky pavilions with all these crazy angles, or these crazy, egg-shaped pavilions. And they do that for a couple of reasons. If it's a really light colored stone, having a deeper pavilion will darken the color of the stone and make it more valuable looking, I guess. Will make it more desirable the deeper the color it is on some stones. I see that a lot on like amethysts, aquamarines. Oh boy, aquamarines are the worst. Topazes, I've seen them on lots of stones. They'll cut them in these wacky angles. They also do it sometimes because if you can make a pavilion kind of egg-shaped, you can add a lot more weight to the stone than you would if you just use those traditional cuts. And the more weight, the more carats. And if you're selling your stones by the carat, it's easier to make more money on a stone that's 1.5 carats than a stone that's 1 carat. And the difference, half a carat, is easily the difference between cutting a pavilion traditionally and cutting it really super wonky. Anyway, my point is, sometimes you'll get the gemstone and the outside perimeter is exactly the right size, but it doesn't fit in the setting, and you're like, what was going on? I thought your findings were, calibrated. And they are. The problem is that they're designed for more traditional cuts, and sometimes wacky cuts like that won't fit. But if you send us your stones and we're doing a custom thing, we'll 3D scan your stones so that they have, when they're doing the 3D design of the piece, they'll have the 3D, a virtual copy of the stone to put in the seat, so they'll know that it'll fit. They can design the seat properly so that it sits the right height in the setting. The culet doesn't stick out the bottom or stick out the back, so it doesn't scratch on you, make you cranky, or anyway. But I find that's the most fun part of the business, and we're doing lots of it. So any custom ideas, just send them our way. I don't even remember why I started this. Get a hold of me. You can get a hold of me I'm not on Facebook anymore, so but we still do the live streams here, so you can definitely reach me through SilviaFindings here, or through the website. If you go on the website and you go on the little chat boxes, a lot of times that's either me or Nelson or Marble. Somebody here will get a hold of you, will forward messages to me, or you can reach me, my email, mark@canadafindings.com. What else? I guess that's it. In the meantime, take care of yourself, stay cool in every sense, physically and emotionally. Stay cool, dude. Take care of yourself, take care of the planet, take care of your mental health, and keep making stuff. And we will see you here next week, Wednesday, 10:30 a.m. Pacific, and extrapolate it out to whatever time you are if you want to look at this live. You can also look at this, I don't know why, but if you like, you can also look at this after the fact. I think it goes up on YouTube. I think it's always available here, the previous ones, but definitely I know that they end up on YouTube. And this is like the 55th, 54th. I forget which one it is. We're upwards of 50 episodes now, so lots of product to look at. Anyway, take care of yourself, take care of the planet, take care of all your mental health, blah, blah, blah. We will see you next week. All right, bye-bye.